Hello, my name is David Upchurch. I'm a chocolatier based in San Francisco, California, and I just make classic confections. I'm trained in European style, but I like to bring some California vitality to it. I believe Ginny and I met at the Northwest Chocolate Festival in 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017. Well, Conexión seemed like a very unique program. Chocolate made at origin was still a very unique, unusual thing. And what Conexión was doing was couverture, designed for professional use. So that made it probably singular. I can't recall anyone else at that time doing couverture at origin, which spoke to Jenny's training um, as a chocolate maker and her awareness of the industry. And then there's just the flavor and the quality.
David, I always say this, so much expertise and know-how, and you're a very talented chocolatier. So I think we have benefited so much through it because we're able to kind of sit and talk through flavor. And I love when you text me and hey, listen, I found this flavor in the chocolate. Or, hey, listen, Jenny, it seems like, as you mentioned, this batch seems to be more fluid than the other one. And only pointing out that is we're able to talk, why can that happen? Because even we're using the same recipe, the same cacao, the same origin, nothing has changed. Why is this happening? So that is so much an awareness point for us, that we can go back and say okay, let's find out why this is happening. So I think those are a learning parts that are naturally happening into the craft chocolate industry as a professional line, as we are in this case. And another thing is also that we feel like David is our brand ambassador without even signing a contract or without doing anything, because only our friendship and of course the love for the chocolate, the love for the people, for Ecuador, that is in David's heart now, is we see every time he takes on things, or he say I'm willing to kind of bring more chocolatiers that appreciate this chocolate, even if I'm jealous because I don't want anybody else to use this chocolate because it's mine. So, and that really, help to develop the awareness of the brand.
I get to understand more about why the chocolate works the way it does, why it's different, the nuances I can take advantage of. So the dialogue between Jenny's team and myself is fantastic, and it makes it worthwhile. It's exciting. I think it can also be quite frustrating, I imagine, for a new chocolatier to learn to use these chocolates and not have the backup, the expertise, or the ability to learn quickly and easily. So having that dialogue with Jenny and her team is fantastic. It makes it very worthwhile. I have a smaller range of flavors, or I guess we could say aromas to work with because of the Ecuadorian sourcing. It's not like I'm using Ghana and Dominica and Ecuador. A lot of chocolatiers will use one of the industrial companies and have a broad range of sources. Focusing on Ecuador means that I have a more narrow range, which is very interesting because I can fine tune a little more differently, and I'm beginning to play a little more with those nuances, kind of coaxing nuances, and kind of just exploring inclusions and how to make, how to bring forward some of the nuances of the chocolates. Conexion's chocolates vary quite a bit in again, this goes to Jenny's skill as a chocolate maker. They vary in roasting, fermentation quality, and of course sugar content. So it's pretty exciting to play with those nuances and pull from that. When I do tastings, again, I sell at farmers markets, and I do very brief tastings with like typically 4, maybe 5 samples, and people are astonished at the variety of flavor that can happen, that Conexión creates, that Jenny creates. To switch from industrial chocolate to a more craft or small batch chocolate, even Couverture, requires a lot of skill with the chocolate itself. The viscosity will be different. The textures will be different. The grind will be different. The fat content will be different. The industrial makers have designed chocolate to be extremely fluid and high fat, consistent in flavor, and very easy to use in a fast-paced restaurant setting. It's designed for that, and that works. So using a chocolate like Conexión is very different, and it requires us to learn tempering. It requires us to learn crystallization, much more of the nuance of crystallization and temperature range, and how to work with the chocolate. When I mold bonbon shells with Conexión, I have to work hotter and faster. When I use something like a different chocolate, a more industrial chocolate, I can work slower because the chocolate is much more fluid. It gives you more time. And so there are a lot of technical nuances and the differences. Also, the flavor is seasonal. You're going to get shifts in flavor. You're going to get shifts in fat content. I just made Los Rios 70 bars this morning, and the viscosity was quite different from the last batch that I opened up. So it's just, anticipate that, know how to work with it, and that takes skill from the chocolatier. So you're going to have to know your chocolate, and you're going to have to be patient with sourcing. One of the chocolates that I would like to be using right now is out of stock, and I have to be patient with that getting in stock. So there are technical nuances, production nuances. It's different, and it's worthwhile.